Hello friends, welcome back to another session of my financial predictions. Today is the 21st of April and we have for NVIDIA basically range day, really nothing much. We see that the price kind of collapses. It's not as hard. You can see at the lowest point we had basically 4% maybe, something like that. Then a very small recovery. And basically it's almost within a range, but this is kind of enough to me to really classify it as a red day, as a correction. So I was expecting a more volatile day today, but at the same time it can happen tomorrow because we have this green box right here, 2122, which means one of these days we will see a very powerful impulse. So obviously not today. So it really depends on tomorrow. So maybe we can see possibly, if things go really well in this week, we can see potentially 2 or even 3 consecutive green days. This will be kind of hard to see in my opinion, but at least maybe 2 we can see if we're very lucky. Okay, so potentially we can see maybe tomorrow will start in a very powerful uptrend and continuing on the 23 with a kind of a slowdown. And if it doesn't happen on the 23, it could happen on the 24. But by the 25th of April, I expect the price to relax drastically. I really don't see a very volatile Friday. So I think it's going to be more like a range day. It's possibly going to be very relaxed, very much in line with what we have been seeing in these days, some of these days, because April for stocks has been very volatile, and basically for all markets, not just stocks. We have also Bitcoin, we have Forex, we have many other indicators like gold, for example, which are going skyrocketing. I mean, they are really very volatile today in this month. So maybe we can see more range on the 25. But yeah, expect to see some powerful impulse tomorrow. And maybe after that, it's possibly going to be not as good of a week. It could possibly be one of the worst weeks. Well, we have to see, guys. Now, that's all I have for NVIDIA, because Friday was not a market day, so I already covered every single day in the last week in my last video. There's really no use for me to cover them again. So let's just go to the Swiss franc, to the Forex pair, and see what has been going on. So you can see that for most of what was the 18th and especially the 17th of April, we see complete range days. The price basically does very little. It kind of stays in a range for the most part. So really nothing much to say about this. And on the 18th, you can see the price was also within a range, but it's only basically in the last hours of the 18th of April that we see the price jump. Okay, it starts to develop an uptrend that will continue on the 20, basically on Sunday, and the price goes really high on Sunday. It's a much more volatile day. Basically, if we measure this to the peak, I think of, this was a peak. We're talking about 1%. So even this is kind of a lot for Forex. I usually only see 0.80%, 0.50%. That's kind of the normal range of what I see usually on Forex trading. But for the Swiss franc, which has been very volatile, basically every single pair tied to the dollar or against the dollar has been very volatile this month because of all the Trump tariffs. You can see this massive jump starts around the 2nd of April, which is an amazing to the highest position, which is Yeah, the one that we saw basically today and parts of the 20. We're talking about in an approximate fashion, just because this is having some trouble trying to measure. Okay, so we're talking about almost 10%. This is massive for Forex, absolutely massive. So very interesting. And let's take a look at the predictions that I made just to see how all of these days that I just talked went. So for example, we see that I was expecting a very volatile 18. That's actually what I told you on my last video. And we really didn't see any of that. We saw a very relaxed day, only trending upwards in the last hours, and even then it was basically minimal. There was no volatility at all on that day. So remember guys, whenever you see that the volatility patterns don't really hit, it's usually going to be a complete boring day, like a complete range or flat range day. Okay, so these volatility patterns usually hit with 90% accuracy, something like that. But yeah, when they don't, it's a completely boring day. There's no in between. It's one of these two options. So that's what we saw on the 18. Now you can see the 20 of April was completely in a green box, in a green circle. So it was a complete green day, just like I told you, just like you saw a couple minutes ago. So you can see already the accuracy that I bring to the table. Okay, no one else has these trading signals. And for the 21 and possibly 22, but already 21, you can see it's a yellow circle. So yellow always means either range or volatility. And what we saw today, because there was no clear volatility patterns for this day, for today. Okay, and by clear volatility patterns, I always mean either a box containing that single day, or this when two circles of opposite energies share that single day. So since there was none of that for today, you can see that for the 20, which is today, the price 21, I mean, it begins around here, and look at this, where it's currently at. Basically the exact same position. The difference is basically minimal. So yeah, basically a complete range day today, even though it was slightly more active than other days, especially other range days, like for example the 17 and the 18. But yeah, the position right here is very, very similar. And I don't think anything really crazy can happen in the next hours. I think it's going to stay that way around this level. So already we can see another range day for Forex. So let's take a look at what could happen in the next days. So I expect a correction either happening tomorrow or on the 23rd of April. And followed by that, we could see volatile days, especially, for example, we have a green box, okay, 24 or 25. This is a range of days, 2 days, where we're going to see possibly a very nice uptrend, a very nice pump. So it could happen on the 24, but if it happens on the 25, we could actually see as well many potentially dangerous corrections in that day alone. So it could be like going massively up and then massively down right after. So could be very volatile. And if that's the case, and if you if you listen to my trading signals, then you can expect some nice profits on these days, either 24 or 25. But around the 28, 29, we could see basically one of the worst corrections of the month, possibly, and especially around the last days of the month, which is basically 29. So you need to be very careful if you're long in this Swiss franc. I'm probably not going to continue doing this Forex pair on the next month of May, so I really can't tell you if it's profitable to keep longing the Swiss franc against the dollar, because eventually it's going to it's going to come down, man. I mean, things go up and down. So yeah, and that's basically all I have for you. And I only wish you to subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.